Today in DYNT News, we dive into the Anglo-Kuki War. In reality, the Kuki uprising against the British started in the 18th century itself. After the Sepoy Mutiny of 1857, this was the longest, the hardest, the most expensive and the biggest battle which was fought against the British in the entirety of India. Diving deep into the Kuki history. The Kukis are a martial tribe, the majority of their population being in Manipur, parts of their population living in Mizoram and parts in Tripura. They can also be found in the northern parts of Myanmar and the Chittagong Hills of Bangladesh. The controversy is the migration of the Kuki people into the Manipur area and the history regarding that. Some historians say that the Kukis started migrating into India as early as 11th and 12th century, but the more accepted version of it, 18th century and the early 19th century, specifically 1860, when the Maharaja of Manipur honored them. The exact history is not available. The controversy between Kukis and Nagas. The Kukis were said to have settled in the villages which were inhabited by the Nagas. The history of Kuki-Naga clashes are on the basis of this. The majority of the Kuki settlement are the hills surrounding the Imphal Valley in Manipur today. The Imphal Valley is inhabited by the Meiteis, who comprise of 60 to 70% of the population. The rest of the hills are inhabited by the Kukis and the Nagas. The Nagas claim the hills to be their ancestral land, but on the other hand, the Kukis claim the same, demanding that it's their homeland and wanting a separate administration or an autonomous state of their own. The problem? The proposed map of the Kuki state overlaps the area of the Greater Nagaland demands. Kukis versus the British in 1917. In 1826, the British signed the Treaty of Yandabo, bringing an end to the First Anglo-Burmese War. Under this treaty, parts of Myanmar came under the sphere of British rule, namely Manipur and Mizoram. But in reality, the British only had control over the plains and not the hill regions. With no direct administrative control over the hills, the British termed these areas as the tribal hills. The 19th century saw the Kukis raiding the British areas in regular basis. To thwart the periodic raids by the Kukis in the region, the British built an army infantry which was named the Assam Rifles in 1917. In a surprising turn of events, the Assam Rifles are the ones who are defending the Kukis against the mass genocide attempted against them in Manipur today. Coming back to history, the British understood that protecting themselves against the Kukis are not enough. They need to take control of the hill areas. World War I. The British needed to recruit people to support them in their war efforts. In 1917, the Maharaja of Manipur was ordered by the British to supply them with non-combatants for service. They were mostly needed for logistics to support the British during the war. The Nagas were pressed into service to be a part of the British Imperial Army's Labour Corps, to build roads, to carry luggage, and for all logistical support. But the Kuki chiefs refused to join. They didn't want to fight for the British. Instead, they declared war against the British. Further problems in written history start at this juncture. The Nagas say the Kukis did not want to be recruited into the Labour Corps. That's why this was just a rebellion, not a war. The Kukis say that this was a war to defend their homeland and gain independence from the British rule. But the Nagas were of the opinion that the Kukis don't even have a homeland in India. The land was theirs. In official British history, the 1917 uprising of the Kukis was termed as a rebellion. We have different versions of history where this Anglo-Kuki clash was termed as the Kuki Rebellion, the Anglo-Kuki War, Zogal, the Kuki Uprising, the War. In 1917, the Assam Rifles and the Burma Military Police were deployed to check the advances of the Kuki warriors. But it wasn't enough. In 1918, the British Indian Army had to be called in. The war saw short and sharp skirmishes between the Kuki contingents and the British troops. The Kukis used guerrilla warfare tactics due to the geography and the knowledge of the region. But the Kukis were outnumbered. They were gradually worn out by the constant flow of British troops into the region. Punishments. The Kukis served a collective punishment as a population rather than just the fighters being punished. They were subjected to 5 years of penal labor, and the leaders were transported and faced trials. After the war, the British also launched a policy to disarm the martial tribe. In 2019, to commemorate 100 years of the Anglo-Kuki War, memorial stones were installed in a lot of Kuki villages, stating that the significance being it was a war to gain our freedom and protect our ancestral land from the British. This was directed by the Anglo-Kuki War Centenary Commemoration Committee, which is under the KIC, which is the apex body to represent Kukis. The Nagas were unhappy with this. According to them, the Kukis can't claim the land to be theirs. The Nagas are the rightful owners of the land. The Nagas blame the Kukis for distorting history. The government of Manipur unofficially accepted the Nagas' claims. The official reason given was that this could jeopardize the harmony and lawfulness of these regions. So, the stones have to be removed. So, some of the memorial stones got removed, some got disfigured. Due to political tensions, in 2020, Chief Minister of Manipur, Biren Singh, wanted to inaugurate a stone, but the Kuki groups were strictly against this because they saw political motives behind this move. Also, the memorial stone that Biren Singh was about to inaugurate didn't have any mention of the Kukis' fight for freedom or the fight for their ancestral land. According to the Nagas and the Manipuri government, it was just a rebellion, not a war. Maybe a snowball effect of this is what we see today in present-day Manipur, where thousands of Kukis are being killed and being displaced by the Meiteis of the Imphal Valley, as they see them as outsiders. If you like the video, press the like button, subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon for more updates. Thank you for watching DYNT News.